Let me welcome our first group presenting case study number 1. Gynthia Azolin, Reginald Hollis, and Hannah Ostic presenting case study number 1. Let's welcome them.
All right, how is everybody doing today? Great. Okay, well, we are very excited to present today to Ms. Gatson, our client and co-owner of Empire Auto Detailers. Together, we are AOH Media. As we said, we'll just reiterate one more time. That's Gynthia Azolin. This is Reginald Hollis.
And our leader is Hannah.
And let's get going.
All right, let's go. So on the agenda today, we're going to recap what we spoke about on the last meeting, and pretty much we're going to talk about the advertising objectives, and we're going to talk about your competitive situation, your advantages and disadvantages, and the benefits of advertising on radio, TV, as well as cable, and the relevance of social media.
Great. Okay, so as you can see, this fancy graph on your right, the opportunity for growth in the auto industry is huge, but in your department alone for service, there's a 19% opportunity for growth, and we want to take full advantage of that. Now, when we met on June 5th, we had a meeting with you. We confirmed and established 3 basic needs for you. 1, we want to confirm and expand Empire Auto Detailers demographic. Now, you kind of said anywhere from in the range of 35 to 65, but we want to make that even clearer. We want to know that your company is professional and your company is corporate. You're not just a soap and bucket place. 2nd, we want to build a positive reputation through your digital footprint. Now, we know you have Facebook and we know you have Twitter. We want to expand on those a bit, and Reginald will go into that a little bit later. And finally, we know you've never worked with any of these mediums. You've never worked with radio, television, or cable. So we want to set the precedent here that you can use and refer back to as needed.
Okay, so the competitive situation, like I mentioned before. During our last meeting, we spoke about your benefits and why your company stands alone. The competitive advantages of your business is that it's family owned. This is your baby. You and your husband started in your garage. So you guys are almost a decade in business, and you're a mobile detail service, and you provide services at home, work, as well as at the location. And you train professionals to do work on your service. And also, customers are provided with a comfortable, clean environment while they wait for their car. And you're a green and environmentally friendly business.
Okay, so now I'm going to highlight the disadvantages, well, the things that we want to work on. So first, we have the impression of being unaffordable and then only available to certain professionals. What we want to do is still maintain the professional brand, but we also want to brand out and branch out to as many as we can. Another thing that we noticed was that there was a lot of negative dialogue from your Living Social and Groupon campaigns. So what we want to do is control the dialogue and get it back into your control with a positive word of mouth. Next, there's not enough activity on social media. In any business right now, social media in our times today, that's becoming such a crucial need for any business. So we definitely want to rebrand and rebuild, rebrand what you have and rebuild anything else that we want to build. Next, we learned that this will be your first big advertising campaign, so we definitely want to make your presence known through our advertising mediums. And then the last thing that we mentioned is that you wanted it to be more aware and have more improvement on your environmental side. And today, just like social media, a lot of companies are going more green, and that's something that's very good. That's a good look for a company. So those are some things that we definitely want to highlight and improve. So now Gynthia is going to talk about the medium of radio.
Okay, so why radio? Like you mentioned in our past email, you really want to use radio as an advertising medium. The benefits of advertising on radio is pretty much the reach. Radio reaches 93% of all US consumers weekly. So that means that your target demographic will be reachable. Target ability. Radio's high percentage of loyal listeners are on selected stations. So you can actually target your consumers. And pervasiveness. Radio reaches consumers on air, online, on site, and on demand. Radio is everywhere, so your consumers will hear your message anywhere. and sound. This is really interesting because with radio, you have the ability to be as creative as possible and not really use images, and people can be imaginable as possible. So sound is great, and you can convince your potential clients to buy. The benefits of advertising on WTOP. Okay, so Empire's target demographic matches WTOP's faithful audience. We are the top station in this area. And WTOP's talk news format appeals to working professionals, which is pretty much your target demographic. And employees' excellent service with WTOP. I mean, I've had service with you, and you've done a lot with WTOP's employees, so now why not take it a step further and let us do some work for you? And you can advertise on our radio station. So my recommended schedule is a 2-week spot campaign, and we'll have pretty much 15 commercials per week. And our call to action is come get your car serviced professionally, because that's what you want to express to your customers. The spots will air during early morning drive and afternoon drive while these corporate professionals are going to work and heading back home. And we'll have weekly sponsorships as well. And we're going to incorporate digital, of course. We'll run banner ads on WTOP's website, and this will run for 4 weeks. And this will have the ability of the audience clicking on these banner ads on WTOP's website and it'll go straight onto Empire's website. And the usage of WTOP's interactive social media sites is important. So it'll just help you guys advertise better. And in our budget, where the spot, sponsorship, and digital aspect will all total to $4,000. And like you mentioned before, you really want to try radio. And we're here to help you. I know you said that your husband is not too fond of marketing, but if you want to, we can sign right now and we can talk to him later. And Reginald will talk about television.
Okay. Well, I want to highlight some of the great aspects of broadcast television. First, it's obviously a very large audience. Second, in your case, your service, people will believe it when they see it. So you really need to be very visual and show a lot of visual proof. And my next point is that television advertising, it will grab your audience, capture their attention because it's a visual aid. And then with television advertising, it adds a lot of credibility and professionalism to your ad. And then when people see that, if they see it on TV, then they'll automatically assume you're a legit company, and that'll give a different feel than maybe just looking in a phone book or Googling something. So that's definitely a good thing to think about. Also, with the television commercial, you could add a lot of cinematography or anything to make it more professional, and play around with it and make it more about like an art project for you, but just something to show yourself visually to your customers. And again, just visual is great for you to show off because people will believe it. And so another thing that we can match and bring to you is first, NBC, we're a top rated network, and then we have a very large demographic. And another thing that I've noticed is that with the professional market, I feel that NBC, our network, it sets itself apart from all of the other networks because it's a more professional look. Like if you look at a lot of programming, you'll see there's a difference in the tone, and it's just a lot cleaner than some other networks. And then another thing I want to highlight to you is that there's a lot of great syndicated programs that will match your demographic as well. And I'll kind of talk about it in the next slide as well. And then just another thing, when I talk about the budget and the spot, I wanted to incorporate a lot of news spots for you. So our news program is still one of the top rated in the DC area. So you'll still be reaching a large demographic amount of viewers. And so to talk about the package, I wanted to do a two-week run, like Gynthia's as well. And in the total first with the morning news spots, I wanted to do 2 per week, 4 early news spots, each week 2 prime access spots highlighting in our anchor entertainment news show Access Hollywood, and 2 primetime news spots, but that's also, primetime spots, I'm sorry. 2 primetime spots, but 1 a week. And the shows that I wanted to highlight were Law and Order and Chicago Fire. Law and Order because that's pretty much an anchored primetime show with NBC, and it's an established brand that's been on for a long time. And Chicago Fire, that's the hot news show that actually probably surprised the network and how well it's doing. So I would definitely say that. And they both reach, especially like Law and Order, a professional crowd. When I think of those shows, I definitely see a certain clientele and your clientele watching those shows. So those are definitely what I would highlight. So next I want to shift gears into social media because I think of myself as kind of a social media guru in some type of way. So first I've learned that you do already have a Facebook, and what we want to do, like I was saying earlier, is rebrand. One of the main things that in your case you would be using Facebook for would be to track likes. You can also, this is more of you can interact with your customers in a longer way. With Twitter and Instagram, it's kind of shorter, but if you want to have spark big conversations with your customers, I would recommend Facebook. And then this could be the hub. Most people use it as the hub to connect them with their other social media sites. Next, I want to talk about Twitter. Twitter is kind of, I would say it would be the news, kind of like the news in social media, the radio, I'm sorry, in social media. So you would use this for quick news or anything that you just want to get to your customers. So any giveaways or sponsorship, I would use social media as the vehicle to get that to your customers. One of the popular things about Twitter is the hashtags. And so the hashtags that we came up to correspond with Empire would be first hashtag Empire Detail, hashtag Building an Empire, which plays off Hannah's amazing slogan, and just Empire, hashtag Empire for last name. And yeah, like I was saying, it's a quick, easy outreach for you to reach your audience. And last, Instagram. Instagram is probably the most popular social media site at the moment. And for you, like I was saying, you have to prove yourself visually. Like if I was to say, I'm a student, okay, are you a good one? Well, you have to show that your service is excellent through showing pictures to them. Because like I was saying, people are gonna believe it when they see it. They wanna see the work that you've done. So we came up with a photo campaign that you can keep ongoing. It's a before and after photo campaign. So you would post a before photo before the car was detailed, and then an after. And then that just gets people to know how good your work is, and then that gets a buzz and they actually see it. So they'll know to come in, just so they have their proof, that visual proof. And then you can also use it for any other photos that you want in your Empire. So now Hannah's going to talk about cable.
Okay, so just giving you a quick rundown of what we have planned for you. We decided to go with Comcast as the provider, use the USA network, and then we're going to typically target you during the show Burn Notice. Okay, so why cable? Well, as you can see from the second fancy graph, over 90% of all television households are reachable with cable programming. So we love that large reach. We want to get you out there to the customers. It's also a multi-platform advertiser, so people are watching cable on their iPhones, their tablets, their computers, and their televisions. Lastly, it targets passionate viewers with high ad content. So people who typically watch cable television are going to stick to that station as they watch, which means in turn they're going to see your advertisements. All right, so why Comcast? Well, as I mentioned, we want the large reach, which is why we want the largest cable provider in the nation. But more specifically catered to you, we want one within the local DC market, which matches just that. And it has over 50 cable networks to choose from, so you have a vast array. All right, so specifically why USA Network and why Burn Notice? Well, as you can see from this graph, in the first quarter of 2013, USA was the highest viewed network, the highest viewed cable network. More specifically, it was the number one ranked program in the DC market. And it matches your demographic, 25 to 55. It almost meshes perfectly. So our plan for you is a 3-week campaign. We'll run 55 30-second spots during the show Burn Notice. Burn Notice has new episodes 9 p.m. on Thursdays, but they run episodes 6 days a week. And again, why does it match with you? As I mentioned, matches your demographics, serves a large audience, and it gains your brand recognition. All right, so what can we do from a digital aspect for your company? We're going to try a thing called interactive telescoping. Basically what that is it's an overlay during a TV advertisement, or in layman's terms, a pop-up ad. So as you can see from this picture here, that would be your advertisement, and then in the blue it would say, click here to find out more about Empire Auto Detailers. Click here to find out about the latest deals. And it can even take you to directly to your website, www.shinemyride.com. So we plan on running a 2-week campaign, and we'll have 2 telescoping ads in July, on July 18th and July 25th. All right, so just to reiterate the budget here, we have 55 30-second spots on USA Network during the show Burn Notice. This will run from July 15th all the way to August 3rd. So these typically cost $40 to run, so that's $2,200. Plus, additionally, the 2 Interscope ads was $800. So your cable budget, therefore, is $3,000. Here's just a tentative schedule we whipped up, so more visual proof. The first week, we're going to run 4 30-second spots, 6 days a week. The second, we're going to run 3 30-second spots, 6 days a week. And the last, we're going to run 2 30-second spots for 5 days, and on the last day, you get an extra spot, because 55. As well as the telescoping ads that I talked about earlier. All right, so as we mentioned, let's review. We talked about radio budget, $4,000. The television budget is $8,000, and the cable budget is $3,000, coming in exactly what you wanted at $15,000. So there's the signature for you. All you have to do is sign. We're ready to build an empire. Are you?
Thank you very much. That's group number 1, Gynthia Azolin from Howard University, Reginald Hollis from Howard University, and Hannah Ostic from Whitworth University. Thank you.